What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. We were all ablaze with the mechanical animal the other day. I posted a video with two different builds. It's like the ultimate hybrid build right now. The changes they've made to that gun are absolutely brilliant, and for casual, easy, laid back gameplay, it's absolutely superb. I'll link that video down below in the description. But I think I've come up with a better way of running it, because essentially I was just trying to bring a tier 6 skill into an all red build. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, here you can see here Future Perfection. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 19 seconds. It stacks up to 4 times, meaning you only have to have 2 skill tiers now on your build, and you can then get your skills to tier 6 and actually get them overcharged as well. So I went in with the drone last time for a bit of a distraction and some extra DPS. This time though, I'm bringing it all the way back to what I would normally use. I would usually use a reviver hive, and I would usually use a shield. So that's what we're going to play with today, but I've come up with a different way altogether of running it. So as you can see here, weapon kills at tier 6 grant overcharge for 15 seconds, and the overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds, which is not very long. And if you're using a shield, an overcharged shield pretty much makes it invincible. We'll look at that in just a second. So we'll flip over to that now. Okay, so let's take a look at what some skills look like when they're overcharged. So if you go into the shield, you can see at the bottom, overcharge makes it invulnerable, which is really, really nice. If you look at the striker drone, overcharge gives it a huge amount of extra damage and health, which is really, really nice. You could look at seeker mines if you really wanted to, but that's really not what this build is, down for, 'cause that's going to be like a one and done. So is the overcharge really worth it? Probably not. Or you could use a turret, which could be worth it as well if you're more of a static kind of player. And again, it gets a lot of damage and a lot of health, just like the drone. Other options though that we have are obviously the reviver hive, which I kind of use as an extra life. But if we're looking at hives, we could take the artificial hive if we're going to use the shield. Now, I would only recommend this for kind of like heroic and challenging style content. This build's really easy to put together. It's super, everybody friendly. But you could use this as well to buff your efficiency of your skills if you really wanted to as well. And that also then gets affected by the overcharge. So, if you do efficiency, and you can get the tech efficiency up as well. So you can make your skills really, really good by only running these 2 yellow cores on the build. So let's take a look at the build in action with we're going to take these off for now just so we can run through and see. And with the artificial hive, what you got to remember is you don't need to deploy it or anything like that. You can just leave it holstered and it will apply to you. And you can see the tiers building up at the side of the gun. Don't jump down there, please. Ah. And I think we're 1 away now from getting our first overcharge already. Shoot me, please. As you can see, the shield is completely invulnerable, which just makes us super, super tanky. If you have your shield out and don't let yourself get shot by the bad guys. But it just makes it super casual and super. You're not going to be, killing people as fast as your Ouroboros. This is not saying that this is the world's best build. But as far as player friendly, user friendly, whatever you want to call it, newbie friendly. This is top tier, absolutely top tier, and you could take this in, with your teammates. You don't have to worry about this being like the memento was a great shout that I put in the last video. You perhaps you could perhaps use the ninja bike as well, and mix some things in that way. But with the memento, what you've got to rely on heavily is that you've got to collect the tokens, right? And that doesn't always work out if you've got somebody that's super sweaty in a group with you. That sometimes can be difficult. With this, you don't have to worry about the memento stacks. If you want to matchmaking with with randoms, or or whatever, this one's probably the way to go. I did post one with the Picaro's holster, that's also an option, but I think this one's even easier to put together than that one and does a really good job. I don't even pay notice to when I'm getting the overcharge. I think we just got it then. Oh, he got me. Please don't kill me. Thank you. Don't get blown up. It's bad for the health.
Answer me.
Answer me. I'm busy. Also been on fire. Not great. You see, I'm pretty much face tanking as much as I possibly can to show how good the build is. You could use cover a little bit and stuff if you really wanted to, you know, and peek with the shield and play it normally, but I'm just trying to show, like, on purpose of how, you know, how strong this is and how super casual you can be when playing it. Let's head back to the base of operations. No, let's not. Let's just show you right now. So technician is what you're going to run because that gives you a skill tier. Just make sure you spec into assault rifle damage. Everything else, skills, you can run whatever you want. Like I said, a revive hive as an extra life if you needed one. You could run the artificer for some extra skill buffs. You don't have to run the shield. You could run the drone like I did in the previous video, and that's going to really help as well. And everything else is really straightforward. It's probably a lot like your striker build that you already run. And the only thing that I've changed, you can see here, and this actually could be on any of them. It was just easy for me to do it on the knees because you can just craft them at the bench. You could craft gloves at the bench as well. I put a yellow core here on the striker's knees. You can see here, I changed the core attribute to a skill tier, and I put the attribute to critical hit damage and just optimized it. So literally first roll I did at the bench, I got them ones with critical hit damage quite high. Skill tier on, doesn't need any optimization, doesn't really cost that much to do either. So it was really easy to get these knees, and that gives me the 2 tiers that I need, and the mechanical animal will take care of the rest. Because remember, you've got to get all the way up to 6 to be able to get the overcharge, which is what's important. So you need 2 in the build. So everything else is just really, really straightforward at that point. 2 guns, you can have whatever you want. I probably should have had my Scorpio on here. That would be my best advice. It's a great get out of jail free card if you're in a little bit of a bind. Like I said, you could run the Reviver Hive here as well for an extra life, you know, to make yourself even more give yourself even more survivability. You don't need any blues for this or anything like that. So it's just crazy, crazy good. And I got to keep the Coyote's mask in, which gives team buffs as well. Gives me some extra critical hit damage. As you can see here, it comes with chance, damage, and chance in the mod slot. My backpack has got chance and damage. Gloves has got damage. The knees has got critical hit damage and the skill tier, which is very important. And then the holster has critical hit damage. And it just makes for a really, really nice build. And what kind of happened with this, as opposed to the one with the Picaro's holster, I had like over 20% more critical hit damage. So it just felt like I was doing more damage. You know, it just felt like I was putting out more. And not only am I putting out more damage, I'm also still buffing the team with the Coyote's mask. Now, these are not leaps and bounds above each other. There's no point statting all 3 of them up. There's pros and cons to all 3 of the builds that I put together. Obviously, the one with the Memento has a lot more survivability because it has a blue core in the Memento and you can collect the tokens. But that has a downside when you're playing in a team that if you're not getting the kills because someone's Ouroborosing and snagging them all away from you, you're not getting your tokens. You lose out on a bit of damage, so there's some downside there. The Picaro's holster is not probably as easy to get as this. I could literally go to the crafting bench and put this together in seconds. It's probably pieces that everybody's had for many years. But then this one still gives the Coyote's buffs to the rest of the team. So you can run any of these that you want. There's not a huge damage difference between them, and they all have pros and cons. This is just an alternative way I thought of putting it together that actually made it a little bit more user-friendly because it was really, really easy to craft and put together. You can craft the gloves and do it with the gloves if you wanted to. The backpack, you could do that as well if you wanted to. The backpack be a little bit more expensive though because you'd have to optimize the 2 attributes, so I'd probably advise against that. And for some reason, we can't craft the striker's holster. So You can't do it there. So gloves and knees are where yellow core would definitely be the easiest. That's going to be it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, agents. Goodbye.